Oh, you got two? Okay. We're good to go.
At least you got some.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody signed their agreement thus far that we have in class for us to record, so that if you miss class, we can post it to Canvas, and you also have access and you can watch it to review it, but also so others can also learn from our class as well. We'll get into further introductions, so I'm going to do things a little bit different than usual. First, I know I told Ebony already, you're going to need 3 of these. I'm going to tell you why. One needs to say current events. Okay. And I'll wait for if you want to write that down, that's fine. You're just going to remember everything.
We'll try.
Welcome, join us, pull up a desk, and we'll get your immediate signature form as well, sir. All right, after you do that, you're going to need VA Legends, which is on the board, and a lot of you already took a picture of this information. Do me, what's your name, sir?
Taquan, man.
Taquan, do me a favor and pull your desk over this way.
Okay.
And then Sydney will talk to you really quick, and then join us, and welcome. Okay, so then we have VA Legends, which we've already implemented that and we'll implement it in today's lesson. And then I need you to have one that says the arts. At first I had music, but I figured it's going to be way beyond that because you have spoken word, you have visual arts, and so forth. So the arts, so you need 3 of those. Okay, so when I said I'm going to do things a little bit different before we get into introductions and so forth within the class, Juan, you may want to take a picture of this when you get a chance. So to implement VA Legends, so when you see first, I have Trey Songz, I have Petersburg, Virginia, right? Oh, it gets better, I have the t-shirt. It was the reason why I had asked for this t-shirt. Okay, so, on the back of this t-shirt, which is why I actually wanted this t-shirt, and I'll let you all see it. It actually has his full name, except it doesn't have his middle name, Alden. And then it tells you, of course, what basketball team he was on. Of course, it says Petersburg, Virginia. It tells you what his team member, correct? And some other things. Okay, that's why I wanted this shirt. So, with that being said, since he is from Petersburg, Virginia, this song that I'm going to play for you, after my mother passed, has actually been a song that I would say if it had a soundtrack to my life, it would be implemented. But we're going to go into that because then we're going to talk about Nate Parker really quick. He went to Norfolk State University. From there, my family connection, or he has a connection to my family because of Nat Turner. I understand I'm related to him by blood. And we'll get into that probably later on in the semester. Then Dr. Thomas Freeman. He's related to me by way of my mother, Laverne Turner Newton, by marriage. And we'll get into that. I ended up calling my uncle before class, Gentonio Turner, because my Nana within Sussex County, Magdalene Freeman Turner, she was, of course, civil rights activist, educator, and I believe she was the first black and the first female magistrator of the county. When I go back to show you, she's in Petersburg, Virginia, that's where we actually placed her when she rested. That is a picture of her. So, the one that's actually going to end up being really strong this semester, we're going to end up implementing, is Dr. Thomas Freeman. I'm going to tell you why as we proceed. Does anybody recall The Great Debaters, the movie with Denzel Washington? He was very influential in that. Dr. Thomas Freeman is my uncle, my great uncle, like I said, by marriage. Because of him, and when we get ready to look at our syllabus, and after Sydney and I went to see, on the basis of sex, I was debating, do I have you write about an argumentative or persuasive essay or paragraph, or do I actually have you all do the debate? I think I'm going to flip it and have you all do the debate, and that'll be paying homage to him and also a VA legend. So we'll get into stand, which is why now I was saying you're going to need the 3. So that would be under VA Legends. But today you can just listen. Once I upload the link, you can watch it. And while you're listening, if you want to just listen, fine, later watch the link, or if you want to take notes while you're listening, because you can implement this later when we do our research papers, if you want to start to do VA Legends, which I would probably recommend. Taquan, where are you from?
No, Virginia.
Y'all are all here from VA. It makes only sense, so.
Touche and more. Inspired by album available now.
Is that too loud or just enough?
can carry on, we can flip a new switch. We can't just put a damper on the fire and never take the chance to let it rise up. Baby, cause we know we won't survive us, afraid to let it burn. We got one foot on, I love you, the other one's on, it's over. It's easier just to lay down, but we may never break ground. We don't care for the future, for the new us. We'll be ruined. We don't care for the future, for the new us. We'll be ruined. Time for traditions. Think it's time we made a change. Let's stay true to our religion. Love's the only way. So don't you let them dim the light inside you. Never take the chance to let it rise up. Baby, cause they know you're a survivor. But will they ever learn? We got one foot on, I love you, the other one's on, it's over. It's easier just to lay down, but we may never break ground. We don't care for the future, for the new us. We will stand for the future, for the new us. We will stand. Once we stand up, we'll be whole. Fighting together twice as strong. Knowing the battle's here at home. We can't afford to get it wrong. So won't you stand for the future, for the new us, for the children.
Okay, so the reason why I wanted to start with that, and also it ties into Birth of a Nation, which deals with Nate Parker being a part of that, and then also Nat Turner. Nat Turner, we know, is also from Virginia. One, I want us to remember why we're not going to be here next Monday. I think sometimes we have lost sight of why we are not in class on that day or in remembrance of that day and so forth. And then we're all sitting in this classroom for that reason or because of change had to happen somewhere. So with that, I've already implemented in that. Do me a favor, take a note. I want you to find 5 facts about Trey Songz. Facts. I don't want no rumors. I don't want to hear about who he's dealing with. I don't need any Facebook drama. I need facts. So you already know though, he's from Petersburg, Virginia. Tremaine Alden Neverson is his full name. Those are 2 things I've given you, but I want you to see if you can find 5. With that said, that means in your current events, if you wanted to, you can find one of those elements, and we'll talk about it. You can implement that for your current event, okay? All right, now, because we're missing class next Monday, I want us to remember why we are not here, and this speech I may implement later. Take notes if you choose, but right now I just want us to, again, remember why we were not here. And this would go in, I would probably say the arts, because it's going to deal with speeches. Okay? But again, like I said, I'm going to upload the link. Give me about a week to do that, since I'm also in grad school myself. But just because I need to figure it out, I have a new camera as well. So.
Pleasure to present to you
Is that loud
Dr.
enough,
Martin
everybody?
Luther King, Jr.
with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. So we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood, now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summit of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until that is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro has granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. But that is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. As we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied. As long as our body is heavy with the fatigue of travel, cannot gain lodging in the motels of the highways and the hotels of the city. We cannot be satisfied as long as a Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and a Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and